Hey guys, so I wanted to come on here and do an updated, I guess you could say closer look format video on the various different versions of Transformers the movie I have, seeing as though when its 35th anniversary, and for a lot of us by now, we've pretty much added a new addition to the collection. So with that said, without further ado, let me show you the various formatted versions, if you will, of Transformers the movie that I have on video, if you will, as well as mention a few here and there. Now, as I adjust the cameras, I gotta make sure you can see everything nice and hopefully a little straight. So one thing about tripods, you gotta adjust them correctly so they fit with what you need. But anyway, like I said, with that said, as I get the camera more here, there we go. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. That's a little too much to see at the table there. There we go. It's as zoomed in as it's going to be, seeing as though I'm using my GoPro. But anyway, like I said, we recently got a new addition to the Transformers the movie format collection, if you will, as of last week. Now, first of all, before anybody wonders, I do have basically various other versions of Transformers the movie. For example, thanks to Prime Video and Vudu, I have Transformers the movie digitally available. So when I travel on the road, I have my phone, if you will, and I can watch Transformers the movie that way. Like, this past Saturday, we went to Monterey, and to kind of buy the time a little bit, I turned my phone on here as I pressed the highlight button. I turned my phone on here, went to the Vudu app, selected Transformers the movie, and watched some of that while we were traveling to Monterey Bay, which was kind of cool. I had my headphones and everything as well to help out, so nobody was wondering exactly what I was doing. But with that said, besides those, I also have an MP4 edition. That's right, I have a MP4 version of the film. Basically, this was a digital download that came with the 30th anniversary edition that Shout Factory first put out. And you would think that even back then, because a lot of studios, a lot of distributors, home video distributors and stuff, were releasing not just the physical copies of a movie and a show, but also the digital copies with a code within inserted within the movie case or within the case itself, that you can go to places like Movies Anywhere, or at the time Violet HD or UD or something like that, or Vudu or Prime or wherever. You could put in the code and you would have right there on that digital streaming platform, whether, like I said, with Vudu or Prime or whatever, you would have the movie available to watch, like I said, anywhere you were at. And unfortunately, at that time, Shout Factory didn't think about that, but they did think about it later on. I think at the behest of Hasbro and Paramount and all of them, they realized, hey, why didn't you release the movie digitally at the same time you released it physically for its 30th anniversary? And I'm sure when Shout Factory probably explained that they did, but it was downloadable, they probably had to correct them and say, no, that's not what we meant by digital release, if you know what I mean. So anyway, I do have those various copies, as well as I have as I've shown before in videos, I have the Marvel and I think the Dreamwave adaptations of the movie as well, the comic book adaptations as well. I also have the soundtracks on CD, as well as Spotify and vinyl, believe it or not. So I have a lot of Transformers the movie material. But we're here to talk about the movies, and like I said, getting back to what I was just talking about, digitally, I have it available three ways. Either the MP4, which I have on a SD card, a micro SD card on one of my phones, or stored away somewhere, I think. As well as I have a digital copy on Amazon Prime and a digital copy on Vudu. So I have various ways of watching it, and mostly like when I'm on the road, as I kind of gave an example of this, of what I did, of what I did this past Saturday, I should say, when we went to Monterey. But anyway, speaking of the other formats, of course we all know there were various formats of the movie spawned throughout. One of the most common ones was the family home entertainment version that was released here in the States. Now, other companies, VHS distributors around the world, released the movie on VHS as well. I think like Metrodome in the UK and Canada did it, and other places as well. But here in the US, originally it was Family Home Entertainment. And, that was, just thinking about this, it's kind of funny that Family Home Entertainment, between these upcoming 4 years, 86 to 90, distributed Transformers the movie on VHS and the live-action TMNT on VHS, because they had the distributing rights to the VHSs for the animated series at that time. The one that didn't get a Family Home Entertainment release, for its movie was G.I. Joe the movie, because it was a direct-to-video, direct-to-television release, and it was through Kids Classics, which was kind of surprising that, at that time, it didn't get a release by Family Home Entertainment, if you will. Anyway, as I hit the highlight button again, anyway, though, after we had the Family Home Entertainment release, of course, it got re-released several times over, and then, of course, it ended up on television several times. As I've mentioned before, if not recently, in my looking back video, basically, I would look through the TV guide just like any kid at that time frame, in the mid to late 80s, mostly the late 80s. I would look through the TV guide and try to see if 2 hours on Saturday mornings on what I would watch Transformers on at that time was KBHK, if 2 hours was blocked off for Transformers. If it said Transformers at 9 a.m. in the morning and it didn't show anything else until 11. And it's because if I saw that kind of told me most of the time that the movie was going to be shown, edited, in a, very, very similar to the VHS release from Family Home Entertainment, but basically, it told me it was going to be shown. And, I remember my mom allowed me to, and as I've talked about before, my mom allowed me to record one of those airings on Saturday morning. But besides that, like people like Zara Nizarak and others have pointed out, the movie after that got various other VHS releases later on down the line from Family Home Entertainment and other places as well. And it really wouldn't be until about, I would say, around the end of Beast Wars, if you will, wouldn't be until like the end of Beast Wars, that I think we would get another national worldwide release on home video. Well, it would be promoted in a big way, because Beast Wars was a connection, a direct continuation, done right, believe it or not. And I'm saying that because of what's going on with Revelation, or what happened with Masters Universe Revelation. But Beast Wars was a sequel, a direct sequel done right, because it started to incorporate everything we knew about Generation 1. So when that was ending, I think around that time they had one more big time release on VHS, and then we had to wait until about the late 90s, early 2000s before we got another major release, and that was thanks to Rhino Animation and Rhino Home Video. And one of those releases was this. This here was the Kid Rhino release. As you can see here, says Kid Rhino. This was the Kid Rhino release of Transformers the movie on VHS. And there was, as I've talked about before, there was two different copies of this. Believe it or not, there was two different versions. One did not have the special edition on it. It was just like this, with the full picture. If you will, it was just like this. And I think I have that somewhere. I gave it away, or I traded it back into Hastings or something. I can't remember. But it was just like this. And the version that was like this that I had actually had the UK opening on it, which is known as the Star Wars scrolling opening. It didn't have the list of, it didn't have the theme song, I should say, playing while you were seeing a list of the people who were voicing the characters. Like, when they would show, Eric Idle voicing Redcar, Judd Nelson, Hot Rod, and all that. No, instead it was the Star Wars scrolling and a narrator on top of it. And then it was the same narrator that read the scrolling that at the end of the film talked about the return of Optimus Prime. So basically, Kid Rhino, someone at Kid Rhino during the first distributing of the film on VHS goofed up and ended up distributing the UK version instead of the version that they had to release later on as a special collector's edition, because of the fact that basically the one that they had released had the scroll on it. It had the scrolling on it, and that was the UK version, not the one that they were supposed to release. So yeah, after this got distributed, after this got released, basically a lot of the regular release, or the original distributed release, I should say, got pulled from shelves from what I saw, and all you saw was this, because like I said, from what I can understand, from my personal point of view and opinion, basically Kid Rhino made a huge mistake. They made a massive mistake when they distributed it, for the first time originally, because what they did is they distributed the UK version and not the US edition. And they kept saying that the one we were getting was a special collector's edition. They said it was a special collector's edition and all that. And I'm thinking, oh, what is it? What's the special collector's edition? And it was the scrolling. Now, here's the thing. You might say, well, you might look at this and say, well, isn't this the one? Do you have this? Is that the one with the scrolling because it was a special collector's edition? No, the way they advertised it in ads and on television and all that is they said, Transformers the movie being released on VHS, and that it was a special collector's, and it was a special edition. Oh, it's like Transformers the movie like you've never seen before. And that's basically, what we thought it would be. Like, okay, well, what is it? They're saying it's like we've never seen before. It's, it's a special edition. What is it? And it ended up being, like I said, the UK version instead of the US version. It was still the same movie. The only difference was you had the Star Wars scrolling at the beginning, and with the narration, and then the narrator at the end of the film talking about the return of Optimus Prime. So basically, like I said, somebody goofed up over at Rhino Entertainment when they distributed this. Now, you might say that, again, like I mentioned, you might ask yourself, well, what if that's the version you have? Well, like I said, I had two versions. One I have somewhere, I think. It's still packed away. If I don't, it's probably been traded back. So either I still have it or it's somewhere else. But I do know that there was, like I said, two versions that they sold. And one of the first versions I got and I kept was the scrolling one, which, again, I think I have somewhere packed away. I just got to look for it. And then later on, I ended up getting the one that was like this, because this came out later, and this was the one with the, the intro and everything that we're all used to seeing. I think it still had and I think this was the one that finally advertised that Spike swore in it. This finally was the one that had Spike swearing in it. So yeah, I ended up getting not just the one I got originally, thanks to my grandma Lois, God rest her soul. But basically, I got this one later on as well because it was being released, and I think Rhino was doing that to make good for the goof up that they had done. Now, as we could see on the inside, it's nothing really fancy. It's a clamshell. And this is the VHS right here. As we could see, as I hit the highlight button on the GoPro again. But this is the VHS right here. Nothing really fancy. It's just Transformers, the movie. It's got, you know, the runtime. It says color, and I, excuse me. It's got the runtime. It's got color. It says runtime is 86 minutes and everything. Not too much to go with. And then you got the printed on the side there, which is pretty cool. And then you have, this is how old it is. This is how long I've had it. Look at that. Kid Rhino 2000. It just shows you, you know, as Aaron Isaac would say, you have this kind of stuff in there, or you keep this kind of stuff in there, and it's kind of like a blast to the past to see what they had distributing and licensing to at that time. And these are just albums, most of these, that they were selling along with a mail-in card. So, yeah. VHS version of Transformers the movie. Can't go wrong with that. I know others have various other versions. Like, they have this. They have the, you know, they have the Family Home Entertainment. Excuse me there. Like I said, they have the Family Home Entertainment. They have this. They have some of the UK versions, if you will. But this was the one that was my first officially bought, my second, I should say, officially bought Transformers the movie VHS when it came out around 99, when Rhino released it around 99 and 2000. So that's pretty cool. And again, this says, and again, it has a catalog in there for 2000, telling you this came out a year after the original version, which was the UK version that, like I said, they kind of goofed up on a little bit. So. So yeah, they had to do a make good about a year later. It took them that long to do so. Now, after that, of course, as we were going into as we were traveling into the new realm of DVD, of course, like everybody else, I bought myself a DVD player, which has now been long gone. But I bought myself a DVD player, and one of the first DVDs I bought was the DVD version of this. This is the DVD version of this. And the one thing we started noticing about DVD was that you could have, you know, extra stuff added to it and more things could be done with it. A lot of people have basically said the DVD was just the evolution of VCD. As I do something real quickly, hold on. I'm just watching OTRS Central right now. I just wanted to unpause it so nothing goes into screensaver mode, if you know what I mean. But yeah, basically DVD, a lot of people looked at it as the evolution, the next evolution of Laserdisc, if you will. That's what I was trying to say. And VCD. And the reason they looked at it as the evolution of that is because just like with Laserdisc and VCD, mostly Laserdisc, you had a lot of features and everything added to the, you know, to the movie, or added alongside the movie. You know, like, yeah, here, you know, you didn't really have much except for a complete remastered, unedited version, the 5.1 surround, the storyboards, the animated chapter breaks, and then, of course, an exclusive interview with Vince DiCola, who did the score for Rocky IV, I believe. Or was it Rocky 3? I'm not really sure. I can't remember. But anyway, I think it might have been Rocky 4 or 3. Rocky 3 or 4. I can't remember. But anyway, he was brought in to do the score here, and he did a magnificent job. As a matter of fact, they've even sold recently, over the past several years, the original score that he did for the movie on CD, and I think even vinyl as well. But yeah, this is just a DVD version of the VHS that Rhino put out. But obviously a lot more, at that time, a lot more better, clearer picture. And then here you could see you have Optimus, you know, on the, you had Optimus on the disc cover, which was kind of cool. And as they try to lift this up, one thing about DVD disc at that time, when they would put them into the cases, is they'd make it a little hard for you to bring them back out. I mean, it's not really much to look under. There we go. But yeah, there's the disc right there. As you can tell, it's in pretty good condition because I haven't played it that much. And then, of course, here we have an advertisement of Battle of the Planets, because they actually had distributing license for Battle of the Planets at the time for Gatchaman. And then, of course, you have the chapter breaks, like, right there. So, pretty cool. And nothing's on the other side. So, yeah, it was not... I wouldn't say that the first DVD release by someone here in the U.S. was bare bones. It had some features, mostly the interview, and as well as the storyboards and everything, but that was about it. So anyway, though, it was a pretty good release. And of course, like I said, just like with the original VHS releases by Family Home Entertainment and then later Kid Rhino, there were various other releases on VHS as well across the world, from Metrodome and other places, that coincided with the Kid Rhino release and the anniversaries later on. And then, speaking of anniversaries, it would be basically 7 years or 6 years later, we would get this. We would get the 20th anniversary edition with the lithograph. Yeah, this came with a lithograph connected just like this. It was taped on, so when you unwrapped it, the lithograph would come off. It wouldn't. Here's the thing, though. You can't fit the lithograph in here without bending the lithograph. So, yeah, this came with it. This was a lithograph, which, of course, now with the 35th anniversary edition, they've been advertising. They advertised one for those that pre-ordered the 4K back in May when it was announced. They basically said, you order this, you're going to get a limited edition lithograph. And for those that don't, you're going to have to wait till another release happens. And I think they're planning to do the same thing later on next month. But anyway, this is how, they promoted, or they were selling and advertising the 20th anniversary edition of Transformers the movie. And of course, like anybody, I found out about this online. I found out about this online. And let's say, straighten it out here. Try to straighten the camera out. Hold on. Yeah, I think it's fine. But like I said, I found out about this because I think I had not yet worked at Walmart. I just barely started working at Walmart when I first found out about this on the computer. At home on my computer, I was going online and I found out about this at one of the Transformer forums. And I was like, really? We're getting a movie. And, that was, not really, we're getting a movie. But mainly I was excited. I was like, oh, cool. We're getting a re-release of the movie. That's basically kind of more of what my reaction was, if you will. It's kind of late right now, so I do apologize. But anyway, I was excited when they made the announcement. But what surprised me was the ones who were releasing it, because at that time, as far as a lot of us knew, up until that point, Rhino Animation had the distributing license to the Transformers, both the series, all the series, as well as the movie. So we thought, for a lot of us, we kind of thought that was weird that somebody else was distributing the movie and not Rhino, who had done it previously. But as time went on, we found out that Rhino Animation was basically having financial troubles, and they had basically a falling out with Hasbro, and Hasbro was basically, I guess you could say, what's the word I'm looking for? Shopping out the distributing licensing to a lot of people to get the series and get the movie distributed amongst the populace, amongst the fans, and they had reached an agreement with Sony. Sony had agreed through the music division, because that's what it's, the BMG division, as you can see here. The BMG division, Sony had agreed to distribute the movie. Now, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sony, the deal that Hasbro had worked out with Sony was in hopes of not only getting the movie distributed, but maybe having a platform to redistribute the shows onto DVD down the line. You know, kind of make up for what Rhino had done to the series, because a lot of people had complained with the series that Rhino had unnecessarily remastered it to a point that they added in unnecessary sound effects to the shows, to the episodes. They basically, I guess some people, I guess as Aaron Isaac would say, butchered it to heck, or edited or remastered it to heck, or something like that. Anyway, but anyway, though, that was part of what Hasbro was hoping, but unfortunately, nothing came of it. I think they also had a falling out, but the best they could do and get out of it was, of course, the movie being released for the 20th anniversary in 2006, along with the lithograph, which was pretty cool. And basically, did my thing die on me? Oh, sorry, I thought my thing had died on me. That was weird. The red light kind of like wasn't like really flashing that much. I kind of thought it died on me. Sorry about that. But like I said, the best that they could get out of it essentially was just the movie being released for the 20th anniversary in 2006, along with the lithograph that came along with it. Now, this kind of like here, this released by Sony BMG. Set the standard, basically set the table, set the standard, lay the foundation, if you will, of what future releases for the movie would be consisting of. And as you can see here, on here, we have one disc has the theatrical widescreen edition, that's disc 1, and then disc 2 has the full screen version. And again, these two different versions of the movie would basically be sort of the pattern that a lot of people would follow, or a lot of other distributors would follow down the line. Now, on disc 1, we have various features. We have Autobot Matrix of Knowledge, commentary with Nielsen Shin, Flint Dille, and Susan Blue. And this commentary here with Nelson Shin, Flint Dille, and Susan Blue, that commentary that you would hear here on disc 1 gets carried over into the future Blu-ray releases. So the commentary you initially hear here, originally, got carried over to the other releases a few years down the line. So here, like I said, you have that. But then here's something you don't get with the other ones, and I'm kind of surprised they didn't carry this over. You get fan commentary. And what they did is they took people from various Transformer fan groups and forums, kind of like administrators, whatever, diehard fans themselves that would, go to conventions and everything, and had a vast knowledge of the movie, probably, better than anybody, including behind the scenes. They gathered them together to do a fan commentary for the film. And unfortunately, you don't get that. And unfortunately, what I'm trying to say is, unlike with the Nielsen Shin, Flint Dille, and Susan Blue commentary that gets carried over, you don't get the fan commentary carried over at all, which is an unfortunate situation. But besides that, you get original theatrical trailer and TV spots. Let's see, what's the other one? Cynics and Critics test. You get photo gallery, Scrambled City episode with commentary, and that's another thing that didn't get carried over with the Scrambled City. And what Scrambled City was basically an episode, which is kind of considered a lost episode, a promotional episode, a bridging episode, that was originally done in Japan, because Japan also showed Transformers. And, they were also known for carrying on G1 in their own way with Headmasters, Super God, Victory and Super God Master Force or something like that. And as well as the unreleased Transformers Zone, which you can find here on YouTube. Basically, the people over there in Japan decided to do one new episode to kind of bridge the gap between the movie and the second season. And that's what Scrambled City was. And Scrambled City basically gave us the first, in a way, official on-screen appearance of Ultra Magnus and Metroplex and Triptychon. And you might say, well, doesn't the origins vast a little differently? Not, well, in a way, yeah, but you got to remember, Japan kind of tried to do their own thing while simultaneously trying to stay in conjunction with what was going on the U.S. side of things. So yeah, it does kind of conflict, but not really, if you will. But yeah, but yeah, this is an episode basically that falls under that category of, you don't necessarily need to have it, but it is an interesting take on what happened between the second season, or at least give you an idea of what happened between the second season and the movie. So they have Scramble City on there, which again, with commentary, which I'm surprised they didn't. Which again, I'm kind of surprised they didn't, allow to, like with the Nielsen Shin and Flint Daly and Susan Blue commentary. I'm surprised they didn't allow to be carried over, if you will. Then of course you have the remastering side-by-side comparison, a live-action movie trailer for the movie at the time, the first Transformers live-action Bayformer one. So you got that, and along with a special sneak peek of it. And then on the second disc, you have the full-screen version. You have Activate Autobot City Trivia Game, all-new featurette, Death of Optimus Prime. All new featurettes, not featurette, but featurettes. Death of Optimus Prime, cast and characters, and Transformers Q&A with Nielsen Shin, Tom Griffin, Joe Bacall, Flint Daly, and Susan Blue. You got a promotional trailer with commentary, which was the trailer in the theaters, the first one ever. You got test and deleted alternate footage with commentary, animated storyboards, U.S. and Japanese toy commercials, Scramble City's toy commercials, and DVD ROM link to exclusive content, which I don't think that link is working anymore. So yeah, it's chock full of extras. Some that do get carried over, like the commentary with Flint and Nelson and Sue, that gets carried over. But other things they don't, like the Scramble City, the fan commentary, and all that. It doesn't get carried over. Neither does the features on the second disc, which you think would get carried over as well, but they don't. So you can only get those features here, which is another reason why people like to have various different copies, because if they want to hear what a fan has to say on it, they can just pop in, like say this disc, and here you have the two discs here. You have disc one with Unicron on here with the widescreen, and then you have the Matrix of Leadership there. And unlike the other releases that came out later, you kind of have a flip. You kind of have a flip here, a little flip here, a flip insert, if you will. So you have the first disc that you could just turn over, and you get the second disc, and then on the back you get the covers, or you get the artwork right there, which is described in the lithograph. And then you get this nice little booklet as well, to go along with this nice little comic book booklet on the film, little comic book adaptation, little bit nice artwork as well, as you could tell, which is pretty cool when you get down to it. And then of course you have the listings right there along with the movie. And again, like I said, this pretty much laid the foundation for future releases in the future. Now, speaking of future releases, and again, just like with the Rhino release, this also got a release in other countries for its 20th anniversary, along with the same special features and additional features that we didn't get here in the US. But along with, like I said, the along with this release as well, one of the things that other countries like Australia and the UK did to commemorate the 20th anniversary edition, even though they did this later on, about a year or two later, and because this was at the dawn and rise of Blu-ray, what they did, some places, is they released Transformers the movie on Blu-ray. And this is the Madman Entertainment release. This is a all-region release, if you will. Believe it or not, despite what it might say, it's a Region 0, I think. Yeah, it's a Region 0. And it is playable on your Blu-rays, so you don't have to worry about that. And this was one of the first Blu-ray releases outside of the U.S. That got distributed. And this was by Madman. Other places like Metrodome and other distributors in the UK and other countries did their own Blu-ray releases before the U.S. did. And even though it is kind of a slight upgrade in quality, it's just pretty much the DVD slapped onto a Blu-ray. It's pretty much the DVD transfers slapped onto a Blu-ray. Now, like I said, the quality picture-wise is like slightly up there. It's slightly improved and stuff. And just like with just like with the 2 disc 20th anniversary release, you do get some special features on here as well. Like you get Scramble City, Japanese exclusive, bonus episode. You get, let's see, an interview with Flint Dille. You get a Q&A with Optimus Prime voice Peter Cullen. You get the trailer for the movie as well as some TV spots, hunts and everything. You get the Touch music video by Stan Bush. Character, voice actor, and musician biographies. You get commentaries, feature and extras, deleted scenes, animated storyboards, and bonus episode of Transformers Beast Wars. So you get all that on there. And that's the one thing that, that's one thing that, I can give Zaron Nizarak credit for, Sean McLean, that is, of the Multimedia Chronicles, is he always likes to point out, because he lives in Canada, that, sometimes a country's release of a movie or a show will have features that'll be similar, if not the same, but also different from what gets released or shown here in the U.S. So yeah, this was like I said, this is one of the first Blu-ray releases that came out just a little after this one did, the DVD release of the 20th anniversary edition in other countries. And here, this is the Blu-ray disc here. This was the Blu-ray disc here. And when I heard that when I saw Zaron Nizarak have this and others have this, I was like, I gotta get it. And fortunately, I was able to get it off Amazon for a good price. It wasn't that much. So I was able to get it and add it to my collection. So I had the Blu-ray release before we got an official Blu-ray release. And then, of course, here you have advertisement for the series and for figures as well, all by Madman Entertainment. Now, I'm sure Hasbro might have said something at that time, like, hey, why are you releasing our movie on Blu-ray when we, haven't done it here in the U.S., but, what are you going to do? But yeah, I got the movie on Blu-ray, which was pretty cool. Before we officially got a Blu-ray release. And speaking of which, believe it or not, almost a little afterwards, that's when we got the announcement for the 30th anniversary edition. And because I got this, I think about a year. I think I got this Blu-ray release here about a couple of months or several months before this was announced. But a little after this, I got this. It was announced that Shout Factory was finally going to do the one thing we've been wanting, and that's release the movie onto Blu-ray officially here in the U.S., which, of course, I'm pretty sure coincided with other distributors around the world doing their own 30th anniversary releases of the movie themselves. Anyway, like I said, it was a little after I got the Madman Entertainment one that they made the announcement that this was going to be released on on Blu-ray officially here in the U.S. As you can tell, I still have the little slip cover thing that came with it. But look at that, Till All One steelbook, which is pretty cool. And I was actually very happy. So when this came out, surprisingly, I didn't have no problem getting it from Amazon, because when I worked at Walmart when this came out, they didn't have the Blu-ray. They just had the DVD, which was a surprise. You would think all places, Walmart would also have the steelbook or a Blu-ray version, but they just had the DVD. So anyway, I was just happy to finally get it officially I was happy to once again get it on Blu-ray, but get it on a Blu-ray version that was cleaned up, remastered, restored, and everything to make it look better than it's ever has. So I was just happy to get it when I ordered it off Amazon. And as you can see, here is the inside of it. Now, this is what I'm talking about by the code. This code's already utilized, so you don't have to worry about that. It pretty much is expired. But you had to go here. You had to literally go here to basically use the code. And this was a code that allowed you to download. You can download a digital copy of the movie. And this was at a time when, again, like I said, when we were getting more into the, digital codes allowing you to have streaming versions, of the movies you bought. Like, instead of giving us a code that would allow us to automatically have this on Vudu or Amazon Prime, instead they gave us a code for digital copy. What are you going to do? But anyways, you can tell this was the sticker that was on the front of it. And as you can tell, it says 30th anniversary edition on there, which is pretty cool. So you got the Transformers, you got the Autobot logo there, which is pretty nice. And then here you have the Blu-ray disc. You have the widescreen, which is right there, which is pretty cool. And then of course you have the full screen, which is underneath it. And then of course you have the Decepticon logo underneath that, which is really, really nice. If you will. And this copy was the first one to carry over the commentary by Nielsen, Shin, Fint Daly, and Susan Blue. So that was pretty cool. So that was a unique kind of caveat to see. It's like, well, or to hear, to find out about, because when people were actually commenting on this on Amazon and saying how well it was, I think some of them said that the only minus they knocked on it or gave it was the fact that it was carrying over the commentary from the 20th anniversary release by Sony. So on here, as we put this here, on here we have Till All Are One. These are the bonus features. Till All Are One, a brand new comprehensive documentary looking back at Transformers the movie with members of the cast and crew, including Flint Dille, Greg Berger, Susan Blue, Neil Ross, Don Gilvin, Stan Bush, Vince DiCola, and I think they even say Nielsen Shin's in here too. Nielsen Shin's in here as well, I think, because they did interview him. I think they forgot to add him. They have audio commentary, which is basically the same audio commentary from the 20th anniversary edition. Featurette, storyboards, theatrical, and TV spots. So pretty much there are some things that got carried over, but like I said, not everything from the 20th anniversary edition, which is a shame. Hopefully, maybe they might rectify that in the future with a 40th anniversary release and be like, hey, let's just carry over that fan commentary. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I bought this and I was pretty happy to get it. And it says limited edition 30th anniversary steelbook. First time on Blu-ray, brand new bonus features, as never seen before, remastered from a new 4K transfer. And this was at a time too when 4K was really coming into its own as well. Just basically, this came out essentially a decade after Blu-ray started to make its presence known. 4K was making its presence known, and one of the main ways you were able to transfer things like Transformers the movie to Blu-ray was to do it from a 4K transfer. and it really cleaned it. And at the time, this is only what, like 5 years ago. It really cleaned it up. It really made it look good. So I was actually happy to have that. But then, of course, recently they made the announcement in May, and thankfully I was able to get it, and I am getting another version, another copy of this, which I'm probably going to keep as a collector's item, just like I do with Sonic Sat AM, the box set, which was also distributed in 2007 by Shout Factory. I'll probably do the same here, because you never know what might happen in the future. But yeah, as recently, our newest addition that we got was the 4K release of Transformers the movie, also in Steelbook. The only catch here, like I said earlier, was basically they when they first initially did the pre-order, they said that if they said basically you had a limited time when they first did the pre-orders to get your pre-order in to get the lithograph, kind of get the lithograph, similar to what you saw with the 20th anniversary edition. But just like with this cover here, it was just a cover of this. It was just it was a lithograph version of this cover. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that, but still I was determined to get it, and I did. Now, my initial order of the movie off Amazon, I got basically for nothing, which is another reason I'm going to keep it. Because I got it with my birthday money, or my birthday Amazon gift card I got for my birthday. It basically allowed me to get it for nothing. So that's again another reason I'm probably going to keep it as a collector's item, just like I do with Sonic Sat AM's box set, also released by Shout Factory. So yeah, initially when I ordered that, I saw, I thought to myself, okay, the movie's coming out on the 3rd. They're going to distribute, or they're going to send the movie out probably on the 2nd or on the 3rd to get to me probably later last week. That wasn't the case. Instead, I ended up getting a message saying it was going to arrive on the 23rd. But now it says it's going to arrive this Thursday. So either someone must have heard my video, someone I should say at Amazon must have heard what I said on my video when I got this from Shout Factory. Or finally, they just got some stock and just enough to fulfill some orders that need to be fulfilled before a later date, as they kind of told a lot of people like myself. But anyway, this one I got from Shout Factory, and it was just, and I spent about $37 on it. And I know people will say, well, why did you spend money when you're getting it for free? It's real simple. You see, a lot of people want to see exactly who's going to be the fastest in sending, their version of the movie. Is it going to be the retailer, or is it going to be the people that are directly distributing it? And Shout Factory were the ones directly distributing it. And not even a little after, not even a few days after I ordered it, that they ended up sending it out. It didn't even take like 48 hours, from what I understand, after I ordered it, that they sent it out, and it got to me the day I got back from Monterey Bay. Basically the night that me and my mom got back from Monterey Bay Aquarium. This, along with the Pro Wrestling Tees Street Fighter X AEW shirt that my nephew got me, they were in the mail. And basically it allowed me to do a package opening later that night. So that was pretty cool. But anyway, here it is. This is as it says right there, the 4K, hit the highlight button again, the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray. And we have Transformers the movie celebrates its 35th anniversary with a brand new 4K restoration. Brand new 4K restoration, and for the first time on 4K. And then on the back here you have essentially basically the same bonus features as you got before. Like I said, some of these carried over from the 30th anniversary and the 20th anniversary. You have new feature-length storyboards, new 2016 private acoustic performance by Stan Bush. You got Till All 01, which was on the 30th anniversary. You got that documentary back. You got the audio commentary by Nielsen Shin, Flint Daly, and Susan Blue, back from the 20th anniversary one. You got featurette storyboards, trailers, and TV spots. And then, of course, the addition is you also have the Autobot logo right there as well. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, if you will. And then as we take this off for a second, as we can see, we got Hot Rod becoming Rodimus on the front. You know, we got the spine here, which is pretty cool. And it says, well, of course it says Blu-ray, and that might throw people off, but it is the 4K. It's a 2-disc set. And actually it does say 4K, but it's very, very tiny right there. It says 4K. If you can read that, it says 4K right there. And then Blu-ray underneath. And then you got Galvatron on the back. It says till all beyond good, beyond evil, beyond your wildest imagination. And then it looks like it's got a it's just got the word Steelbook on the back with the steelbook.com website underneath. So, and it's got the 35th anniversary logo right there on it, along with E1. E1 is basically the Hasbro Entertainment Company now that helps distribute the movies that they kind of rebranded AllSpark, you know, as AllSpark Pictures, that is. So as we open it up, of course, as I've shown before, we have some cards here. This was actually on the plastic for around the plastic wrap or the silicone, the saran wrap, I should say, of the movie that kept it protected, unopened. And on the inside, we have some cards, and it says some of them basically say the same thing: beyond good, beyond evil, beyond your wildest imagination. So here we have scenes from the movie, like this is Megatron getting ready to finish off Ironhide. Hot Rod holding the Matrix after Optimus is ready, as Optimus is passing it to Ultra Magnus. Here we have Optimus getting ready to fight Megatron to the death. And then here we have Unicorn's decapitated head, which is at the end of the film. That's pretty cool to get in here. And then, of course, we have this nice covering, which, you know, represents the beginning of the movie. As we don't want to break it or anything. Here we go. But like I said, we got this nice picture here that represents the movie. And then here we have the 4K disc. This is the 4K, and it says it right there. It says 4K, just so you guys know, with Hot Rod on here. And it says UHD right there on the front as well. This is the widescreen. This is the widescreen release. And then this right here is the full screen release. And this is the intro. This is right as you go into the O of the movie, of the word movie, when they're doing the intro. That's from that. And that says Blu-ray, of course. And this is the full screen, which is really cool, if you will. Oh, I don't want it. Hold on. Here we the one thing they say about these kind of discs is they get less damage, if any. But yeah, there's that. So yeah, it's pretty good. And so far what I've seen, and I talked about this in a recent video, if you watch this in standard picture mode, it's fine. Natural mode, you know, it's fine. Movie mode, it's okay. HDR, which of course, you know, UHD is meant for, as a lot of 4K releases will tell you on the cover. You go to the HDR mode, the high dynamic range mode, it makes it look tremendous. It makes it look really, really tremendous. So yeah, just just really great, and just really happy to have this in the collection to really finish it off, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that is pretty much the updated closer look at the various versions of Transformers the movie I have on different formats, as well as mentioning what kind of formats I have them outside of the physical ones. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and let me know if you're going to see the movie when it gets re-released into theaters for its 2-night engagements on the Sunday and the Tuesday at the end of next month, courtesy of Phantom Events or whoever distributes the special releases in your area. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Comment if you like. Let me know what versions of Transformers the movie you have physically on media as well in your neck of the woods. And that's about it, guys. So till next time, like the video, comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are on the live chat during the premiere, and I am out.